Live from the tank on the campus of the College of Staten Island, you're watching exclusive men's CUNYAC regular season home opening coverage right here on CSI Sportsnet. This afternoon, the College of Staten Island looks to extend their unbeaten streak in CUNYAC conference play to 3 consecutive games as they take on the CCNY Beavers in a rematch of the 2016 CUNYAC championship game. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Babuski, back alongside of Dave Pizzuto. And Dave, we got to watch the women roll over CCNY to open this doubleheader here this afternoon. Like the women, the men going for their 3rd consecutive win in CUNYAC conference play.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. You know, just a couple of days ago, the Dolphins were 1-4 overall. They were getting ready for their first conference game of the season, and basically against a team like John Jay and against York, we knew it was going to be tough, especially on the road. But the Dolphins have really shown a lot of mettle over these last 7 days or so. The Dolphins beating John Jay on the road. John Jay predicted to be one of the better teams in the conference this year. Then they go on the road against York. They fall behind by 14 points, come back, play well, force overtime, and win the game there on the road as well. So it's got to feel real good for the CSI Dolphins to come into their home building 2-0 against 2 pretty good CUNY sides, and now with a chance to go 3-0 against the team in CCNY that's 0 for the season. A rematch of last year's championship in many ways, but the Dolphins really looking at this season, 17-18, getting off to a huge head start and a 3-0 record.
Yeah, you know, Dave, there's always a lot of turnover from year to year in college basketball, but this year for the CSI Dolphins, it's really much more extensive. They lose their longtime coach in head coach Tony Petosa. They lose Frankie Schettino, who came in and was a 4-year starter for the Dolphins and, you know, broke all kinds of records for CSI. The Dolphins last year go undefeated in conference play and win a CUNYAC championship, and looking to rebuild it all under a new first-year coach, and have gotten off to a good start, Dave, going on the road, winning in 2 pretty tough road gymnasiums to start out the conference schedule 2-0.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people want to focus on, you know, what the Dolphins lost. And don't forget, they also lost Rob Rossiter and Eden Brocic the entire preseason due to injury, and they've only just now kind of made their return back. But for that reason and for that reason alone, Mike, the Dolphins have a lot to prove. They have a lot of first-year talent on the team, a lot of second- and third-year guys that have gotten huge roles. One of those kids today is making his first career start in Ray Savage. So there's a lot of unique pieces to the CSI puzzle that are just starting to get into focus now. And under a new coach in TJ Tibbs, who we hope to see today, we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. You know, under a new coaching regime, under some new schemes, they're responding well, they're playing well, they're showing a lot of discipline, a lot of heart. And you know what? There have been growing pains. They'll continue to be growing pains. But it's not bad when you're undergoing growing pains and you're 2-0 in the conference and you're on a 2-game win streak, and you got to feel good coming into this one. So a lot of good positive signs here for this Dolphins team in the early going.
You know, Dave, we have just a couple of minutes before the start of today's game here this afternoon. Let's turn our attention quickly over to CCNY. And, you know, we mentioned the amount of turnover that the Dolphins have had this year. You look at the CCNY Beavers, a team that had 4 players averaging over double digits in points last year. All 4 players gone. Camille Hammer, David Solano, Mark Richards, Robbie Donoso, players that, for those of you that follow CUNY basketball, certainly a lot of familiar names. So the Beavers rebuilding it as well, and they're coming in with a record of 0-2 in CUNYAC play.
Yeah, and they're 0-6 overall, Mike, but what a huge statement it would be for them to come into CSI's building, the defending champs, and put the rest of the conference on notice that they are getting stronger. They are getting better each and every day, and they want to come out here with a win. They are being led by James White. James White's is 12.8 points per game. They also are pretty good on the interior. They have Ram Shada, who's has over 7 rebounds per game with 6 points. Salvatore Palazzolo, who we know can shoot the 3, hasn't really gotten uncorked yet this season, but is good on the inside as well. And they too, Mike, much like CSI, they're a team that's still coming into focus. Guys still figuring out who they could be, what their best schemes are. And we know that this is a team that down the road is going to be better. And again, let's not forget, the road to a CUNY championship always goes through CCNY. This is a team that knows if they can get to the semifinals of the CUNY tournament, they're going to have home games. And that's a huge incentive. And obviously, if they can string together some wins here, they'll be in that mix.
And Dave, we should mention late word from the CSI Dolphins and a change in the starting lineup, which you briefly alluded to.
Yeah, well, Christian Taylor is out today for the Dolphins. He will not be in the starting lineup. It will be Ray Savage coming in his stead. So that's a big change for the Dolphins. Christian Taylor is only CSI's leading scorer. He's only their leading rebounder. So that's a huge loss for the Dolphins. And even though the Dolphins have a very balanced attack, we're going to have to see more of it today against the team that CCNY, who is going to be chomping at the bit to attack Ray Savage in his first career start.
And, Christian Taylor, really the player brought in to be the heir apparent to Frankie Schettino, out for the Dolphins here this afternoon, and it'll be interesting to see how they go without their playmaker at point guard here this afternoon, Dave.
Yeah, you know what? It's going to be interesting, and Christian Taylor has also been their leading rebounder, Mike. It's hard to figure that out, but he just gets into the mix. He plays above the rim at times. He's able to penetrate the lane. He's able to get putbacks. So, he gives a lot of unique looks that for other schools that he's playing against, and that's a good thing for the Dolphins not to have to deal with that here in this one.
Dave, it's such a different CSI Dolphin team, and for those of you who may not have been following us during the early season play prior to conference play, a very different look of the CSI Dolphin team. They play basketball a lot differently, and they're looking for a lot of their freshman players to step up, Dave, very early in their careers.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot on them. It's a lot for coaches to sometimes ask, but this is the part of the season that you want to be able to do that, Mike. You want to be able here in this first semester, the first 8 to 10 games, use that as a barometer, use that as a measuring stick, and go from there.
And for the CSI Dolphins, the Dolphins will play their CUNYAC conference game this afternoon, and this will be the final game for the Dolphins before the Christmas holiday, Dave. The Dolphins will not be back in action after today until December 29th against Salisbury in the Tournament of Heroes. So one final opportunity, Dave, for the Dolphins to make a statement before a 20-day break in the schedule.
Yeah, and the Dolphins will have some of that time. In fact, most of that time completely off, Mike. They won't be practicing, won't be playing, obviously the 19-week NCAA rule. But when they get back, they're going to have to battle against the Salisbury team that's always in the mix, that went to the national championship tournament last year as well. So there's no breaks in this schedule, and this is one of those games, Mike. You look on paper and you say, well, CCNY 0-6, 0-2. This should be a CSI win. Not the case. I mean, this is a team that comes in, always plays hard here at the Sports and Rec Center, always gives the Dolphins fits on the road, and it's been a pretty good series through the years.
And, Dave, for the Dolphins, they're just going to play 3 games here in the beginning of December until they get the break for the Christmas holiday. But once that break ends, they're going to play 13 games in 32 days, beginning with the Tournament of Heroes on December 29th, and then they'll play a game on the 30th. But then conference schedule really gets underway. They'll play 4 games in the first 13 games of January. All conference games play their traditional game on Martin Luther King Day against Kane University, and then they're going to finish the month with conference games. So, Dave, once they get through the month of December here, they'll go into January. Every game, a conference game on the schedule from there on, except the traditional game on Martin Luther King Day against Kane University.
Yeah, well, every CUNY school plays 16 conference games, and it's loaded, especially in the second half of the season. So it's going to be testing. It's going to be a lot of rigor for both of these teams. And for the Dolphins, they're just looking to get to 500, Mike. That's job number 1. We'll see if they can do that while also staying perfect in the CUNY Conference. And
while the players take the floor, let's see if we can get you the starting lineups here pretty quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. For CCNY, they'll go with number 4, Ram Shada, 6'4 senior. Number 5, Samuel Williams, a 6'2 freshman. Number 10, Iranian Robinson, a 6'1 freshman. Joseph Bermudez is a 5'9 freshman, and number 35, Ian Javier, a 5'8 freshman, also in the lineup. But for the Dolphins, Stephen Flagg, Adeola Latunji, Eden Bracic, Ray Savage, and Robert Rossiter.
So it'll be up to Savage to run the offense for the Dolphins. Here in Taylor's absence, as Rossiter tries to feed the ball inside. He's looking for Latunji, but he's stepping on the baseline. So the Dolphins turn the ball over on their first possession.
Mike, just to say, it's good to see head coach TJ Tibbs on the sideline. TJ was involved in a car accident last night. He's obviously okay, but he was a little shaken up, and he'll do a lot of sitting on the bench tonight while his assistants do most of the heavy lifting.
So the ball is going to be fed inside to Shada. His shot is blocked away, and Flagg with the basketball now for the Dolphins.
A good contesting of the shot there underneath by the Dolphins.
Savage around the three-point line, feeds it back out to Flagg. Flagg works it over to Bracic. Bracic's long three-pointer is good. Good start for Bracic, and the Dolphins lead 3-0.
Yeah, what a lot of people don't know is that Bracic is just starting to get his legs out from under him, Mike. Even the games that he's played in the beginning of the season, he was very tender on that ankle.
Chada putting up the long three-pointer, and that's good, so we're tied at 3.
That's the one thing CCNY likes to do, Mike, is they like to shoot the 3. They haven't been all that great at it in the early stages of the season, only 38%, but they could shoot the 3.
Rossiter, Flagg feeds it inside to Latunji. His layup is up, no good, and the rebound grabbed by the Beavers as they have the ball tied at 3 here, just underway. Bermudez with the basketball. Bermudez feeding it over to Williams. He looked to take the ball inside. Nice defensive play by the Dolphins, but it'll remain Beaver basketball with 18 to shoot.
And that's why Eden Bracic is so underrated as a defensive player, Mike. I thought that was going to be an easy jam for CCNY, giving the Beavers a lot of momentum. Instead, interrupted on the shot.
As we're going to have an offensive foul that time on Bermudez. As that time he just drove into the lane, Dave, really didn't pick his head up and got called for the offensive foul.
Yeah, young teams will make those kind of mistakes, Mike, and that time a good initial thought to drive in. Just got to keep that head up.
Savage with the basketball as he brings the ball up across the midcourt line and hands it off to Bracic. Bracic gets the ball up over to Stephen Flagg. Flagg picks up the dribble, now feeds back to Savage with 15 on the shot clock. Rossiter looking to drive his way on inside. The ball knocked away, but the Dolphins maintain possession now with just 5 to shoot. Flagg taking the ball to the basket and laying it up and in. And, Stephen Flagg really called on for much more responsibilities, Dave, for the Dolphins in 2017.
Yeah, because of his size and his quickness, he has one of the few Dolphins who has that ability to kind of take it from the three-point line right into the paint and get over up top of the net. So nice play by Stephen.
The Beavers turn the ball over, and now it's Latunji looking to drive his way inside. He lays it up and in, but he'll be fouled before the shot.
That was a nice-looking play by Adeola Latunji. He continued with the play and made the layup count. Unfortunately, it was after the whistle, so it'll be a fresh 30 instead of a shot to complete a three-point play as we have our first substitution of the game, Mike, and it'll be number 1, James White, their leading scorer, getting into the game.
Latunji showing all kinds of potential and athletic ability for the Dolphins. They just need him to harness some of those skills a little bit, as now it's Bracic. Latunji over to Rossiter. He puts up the three-pointer. It's up off the back rim, no good, but I believe Bracic will draw the loose ball foul.
Yeah, and what a start so far for Eden Bracic. It's after that shot was taken, you had 4 CSI Dolphins racing back to play defense. The only one who got into the mix was Eden Bracic, and he earns the right to get that rebound.
Flagg will inbound the ball for the Dolphins with a fresh 30-second shot clock as he feeds the ball back to Savage. And now the Dolphins will look to set up a play. Savage. Bounce pass goes over to Latunji. He uses the Rossiter pick, now feeds it back to Rossiter. Now Bracic, the long three-pointer is good.
No one's hotter than Bracic right now, Mike, for the Dolphins or the Beavers. He has come out on fire offensively and defensively.
Bracic, the player that, usually could be that swing player offensively for the Dolphins, Dave, in 2016. Dolphins looking for more consistent scoring out of Eden as a senior.
Absolutely, and he's going to have to pick up that pace, and we know that he's been hobbled around with injuries, but once he really gets his legs completely under him and it looks like he's starting to matriculate into that, he's going to be some dynamic player for the Dolphins this season.
The Beavers pick up their third turnover as it's now the Dolphins with the basketball and a 5-point lead as Rossiter buries the three. The Dolphins hit 3 out of their 4 first 3-point attempts, and it'll be a 30-second timeout for CCNY, Dave, so let's keep it right here.
Yeah, and Paul Dale, the new head coach of the CCNY Beavers, he wants to talk this one over quite simply because his Beavers have been leaving the Dolphins sharpshooters wide open from 3-point range. You saw Eden Brocic with a couple of uncontested threes, and that time Rossiter kind of looked up, saw that no defender was around them, and canned the three. Nice play by Rossiter. Dolphins hitting their shots and up by 8 early here. And
you mentioned, Dave, that Paul Dial coming in and replacing, coming in as a first-year head coach for the Beavers. So, as we mentioned in the pregame, a lot of changes for both of these teams, a lot of different players, both teams with brand-new head coaches.
Yeah, absolutely. CCNY obviously coached by Tom Green for many years, the Dolphins with Tony Petoza, and now instead you have a pair of rookie coaches taking over for teams that played in the CUNY Championship last year. So, yeah, years, it's the one thing about college athletics, Mike, a graduating class and sometimes graduating group of coaches really make a much different look each and every year, but it's one of the things that keeps college athletics so cool.
So Williams with the basketball nearly turns the ball over, and now Brocic able to feed the ball over to Latunji, who jams it home.
Latunji has more dunks this year than CSI had as a team last year, without question. And again, Mike, who makes the play but Eden Brocic? Never gave up defensively, gets the turnover, and gets the J.
And now it's Flagg with the basketball. Flagg taking it to the hoop. The shot is up no good, and the rebound is going to be controlled there by Williams. Williams feeding the ball out as they work the ball around to Javier. His jumper from the free throw line extended is no good. The rebound grabbed there by Chata. He feeds it to Williams, who lays it up and in, and that's going to break a 10-0 Dolphin run, Dave.
Yeah, that time the Dolphins was just a victim of circumstance. The ball kind of found its way onto a black jersey, and then there was too many numbers inside. And Dolphins surrender an easy one.
Big turnaround that time is now Rossiter drives to the basket, and that shot is blocked away. And it's going to be played now by White for the Beavers. Dolphins lead here by a score of 13-5 as White, the 5'6" junior, looks to set up offensively. He's guarded by Flagg. He gets the ball up over to Chata. Chata working the ball in the corner. The long jump by Javier is up no good. It's going to go out of bounds. And I believe we're going to have a whistle, and it will remain Beaver basketball.
Christian Kopech will come in representing CSI's first sub of the game. The Beavers bring in 3 players. Number 3, Salvatore Palazzolo is one of them, I believe. Who else came in here? Number 31, Wills Jazalek comes in as well.
And it's 11, and then Nensko Hunt, Dave, could line up, complete the substitutions as Hunt puts up that long jumper and misses, and Savage controls the rebound. Savage feeding it inside to Latunji. Latunji fighting his way inside and lays it up and in.
Nice job to do that between 2 defenders for Latunji, and a nice entry pass by Savage to set him up.
Couple of big offensive sequences coming up here for the Beavers as they find themselves trailing by 10 here early in the first half. White with the basketball. White kicking it out to Palazzo. They work the ball in the corner now to Hunt. His long jumper is no good. He's missed his first 2 shots since checking in the game, and now Flagg hands off to Savage. Latunji working the ball in the corner now to Kopech. Feeds it over to Flagg. Flagg looking to drive his way inside, loses possession, but able to regain. Latunji, bounce pass over to Flagg. 10 seconds to shoot. Flagg, floater in the lane is up, no good, and the rebound's going to be grabbed there by Jazley. Dolphins by 10. Played just 6 minutes here in the first half. Palazzo with the basketball. Gets the ball up over to Hunt. Hunt working the ball back now to Jazley. Jazlik's jumper from the free throw line extended is good.
Yep, and CCNY breaking up the run here with a couple of jumpers, one of them on the inside, and now this one, a nice one there by Jazlik to get that one to go, make it an 8-point game here.
Savage with the basketball. Bracic puts up the three and buries it. He's 3 for 3.
Yeah, Bracic right now in the early stages, 9 points for the Dolphins. He's got half of them, and CSI back up by double digits.
So the Dolphin lead now 11, as it's going to be White with the basketball. White able to get past Kopech, now feeding the ball in the corner. Hunt, a nice feed inside to Williams as he goes up strong. His layup is up, no good. The ball tipped around, and Savage comes away with it. Dolphins looking to run, but the Beavers get back. Savage now hands off to Bracic. Bracic over to Kopech. Kopech driving his way inside, but we're going to have a whistle and an offensive foul.
Yeah, Kopech got a little bit too much of his left forearm into the CCNY defense, as we'll get our first look here. Rigo Destime, who will come in to replace Stephen Flagg. You can see the three-point shooting here in the early stages on your screen, Mike. It obviously all CSI here in the early going.
So it's going to be White bringing the ball up the floor now for the Beavers as they trail by 11 inside of 13 minutes remaining here in the first half. Bounce pass inside to Palazzo. He feeds the ball off to Williams. His floater is up and in. The basket will count, and we'll have a timeout on the floor.
Yeah, 30-second timeout, Mike. A nice job by Palazzolo to get that ball down low into number 5, Samuel Williams, who had one blocked earlier but got that one to go. And the Beavers kind of hanging around here since the Dolphins took that big run and have cut the lead in half.
Yeah, you know, the Beavers have done a nice job here, Dave. The Dolphins have come out and they played pretty well. And, you know, as you mentioned, they've gone 4 or 5 from the three-point line. But the Beavers doing a nice job, doing just enough to stay in touch, trailing by just 9.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the Dolphins are shooting almost 60% from the field. So for the Beavers to only be down 9 here is pretty good.
So it'll be the Dolphins. Savage, he gets the ball across the midcourt line quickly, now over to Latunji. Latunji feeds it off to Destime. Now back out to Savage. Savage double-teamed at the three-point line. He's able to break through it, and he feeds the ball inside to Charles, but he gets called for the travel.
Yeah, Zaquan Charles had checked in on that last timeout call by the Dolphins. He's played very limitedly here. But you have to think, of course, with the absence of Christian Taylor, the Dolphins will funnel more players into and out of their backcourt, and Charles is one of those players.
So the Beavers with the basketball now, trailing by 9. Jaslik with the basketball. He feeds it inside to Palazzo. Palazzo over to Hunt. Now back inside to Palazzo. His floater in the lane is good. And Palazzo, very physical player for the Beavers, gets his first basket. And the Dolphin lead is down to 7.
Yeah, and he's one of those players, even last year, Palazzolo always figuring into the mix somehow. And since he's come onto the court, he's been pretty good.
Beautiful move that time by Latunji to open the Dolphin lead back up to 9.
Yeah, Beavers' mistake right now is they're giving Latunji a path into the paint. You don't want to do that. Latunji's a player who can play well over the rim, and he's going to take whatever space you give him.
6 points for the freshman so far is White now feeding the ball inside. Williams misses the layup, and the Dolphins able to come away with the ball as Charles feeds it to Latunji. Latunji double-teamed in the corner. He has the ball knocked out of bounds. It'll be last touched by the Beavers. So Dolphin basketball with 22 on the shot clock.
Yeah, you see what the Beavers are doing, obviously, is when the Dolphins put themselves deep in the baseline, they are going to converge 2 defenders to the ball, force the Dolphins into a potential mistake.
Destime now hands off to Savage. Savage looking to drive his way inside the lane. His floater is up and in. Nice move that time by Savage.
Yeah, you know, Ray Savage is someone who Coach T.J. Tibbs is really high on, really does everything right in practice, listens to all the positive and negative feedback his coaches have for him, and he said he's really ready to play here in his second season with the Dolphins.
Savage, the smallest player out on the floor for either team, gets his first basket, and the Dolphin lead is 11, and now they come away with the steal as Destime drives down the lane and lays it up and in.
Yeah, if you're the Beavers, you cannot turn the ball over. The Dolphins have a lot of speed in their backcourt, and at time Destime showed a little bit of that. The Dolphins up by 13.
Beavers 5 of 13 from the field here, need a good offensive possession, down by 11. Jaslik with the basketball out by the three-point line. He looks to feed it inside, but a nice defensive play by the Dolphins forces another turnover by the Beavers, but the Dolphins turn it right back, Dave.
Yeah, 7 turnovers for the Beavers, now 4 for the Dolphins.
White with the basketball, and we're going to have a whistle and it looks like an offensive foul called inside on Chata.
Yeah, and that also counts as a turnover. Offensive fouls do, so that's turnover number 8 for the Beavers here in the first 9 minutes and 38 seconds, as we'll see Stephen Flagg return back in the game for Latunji.
Very good start for Latunji in this game. 3 of 4 from the field, and you've seen those flashes, Dave, but at times he struggled with his shooting percentages.
Yeah, it struggles too because a lot of times just forcing up some shots that maybe he doesn't see different options for. His Flagg puts up a really nice layup.
Beautiful move that time by Flagg. His second bucket, he has 4 as the Dolphins have their biggest lead of the game. It's 15.
And TJ Tibbs has said that he wants Latunji to have a little bit more court awareness, understanding where he is in the court, where his teammates are. He'll take less shots that way.
Chata feeds the ball inside. A fadeaway by Jazalik is no good, and another rebound controlled by the Dolphins, who've come out playing very well here this afternoon, Dave.
Well, Mike, they're shooting 68%. That'll tell you exactly where this game is going here.
Savage with the basketball. Hands the ball off now to Flagg. Flagg looking once again to take the ball to the basket. He's able to do so. He misses the shot but draws the foul. And Flagg playing very aggressively here, Dave. It looks like he feels confident that he can take the ball out on the perimeter and bring it right inside the paint.
Yeah, and that's what happens a lot of times, Mike, when you're playing a team like CCNY, who, again, is bigger than you physically, but not as big as what some of the other teams that they've seen. And typical to CSI, they are not putting anyone under the hoop with one shot. It'll be Stephen Flagg taking the second of 2.
The second is up and in, so he hits both shots, Dave, and the Dolphins continue on their run.
Biggest question I always get, Mike, with this new look CSI team is why don't they go in on free throws? And the reason why is because TJ Tibbs wants the team completely focused on their half-court defense. He wants steals every time the other team gets the ball, and to do that, you have to be ready defensively, and that's why he does it. He also expects his free throw shooters to make their free throws.
At that time, a wild shot inside by Palazzo, and the Dolphins come away with the rebound. Flagg runs inside, and we're going to have a whistle, and it's going to be an offensive foul on the Dolphins.
Yeah, I think it was off the ball. It may have been on Zaquan Charles, for setting up that pick. It was a little bit off the ball. Gives the ball back to the Beavers down 17.
As the Beavers really need a basket. They've struggled as they were able to cut the lead down to 7, but the Dolphins have broken it back open now as the ball fed outside to Jazlik. His long three-pointer is up no good, and I don't believe he's hit a shot here this afternoon, Dave. He has. He's 1 of 3. And we're going to have a whistle and a foul on the Dolphins, so it'll be the Beavers to inbound the basketball, but Beavers need some points here, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. You see how the Dolphins are trying to get to every single ball. They're pressuring the ball handler, and then they are leaving guys open for shots, but you see their hustle and trying to screen.
And this time, Chata is going to draw a foul on the inside. It'll be another non-shooting foul as Charles picks up his second. It'll be the team's 4th, so the Beavers will get to inbound the basketball as Charles will check out for the Dolphins, Dave.
Yeah, and we didn't get a chance to let this play go.
As that shot is no good by Palazzo, and we're going to have a whistle and another foul, and this time it'll be a loose ball foul on the Beavers.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to go over our keys to the game, Mike, but one of the keys that I had is that the Dolphins have to stay out of foul trouble, and that's something that has really plagued this team. They've put a lot of teams on the line very early in games, and that seems to kind of stagnate the game a little bit. It makes the game go by a lot slower. The Dolphins don't want to play that game. They want a high-intensity game, but it means they have to stay out of the foul calls.
Savage bounced past to Rossiter. His floater in the lane is off the back rim and in.
Yeah, Rossiter is another one of those, unheralded kind of lunch pail guys. Not a rah-rah guy, doesn't give you a tremendous amount of production, but he is very, very efficient.
Yeah, and the Beavers haven't scored in a while now, Dave, as they now trail 30-11. Is a wild shot put up by White, and that three-pointer is good. It didn't look great, but it went in, and that breaks a Dolphin run, Dave.
Well, listen, James White came into the game as CCNY's number 1 scorer. It took him 12 minutes to get on the register here tonight.
As Savage puts up that three-pointer, that's no good. A fight for the rebound, and Palazzo comes down with the basketball, and an opportunity for the Beavers to start working their way back in the game. White looks to get a crossover dribble. He goes to the floor, and he'll be forced to call a timeout.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, James White comes into the game. He had all 6 starts, Mike. He did not start tonight, so it gives you an idea of maybe there was something that may have happened that prevented him from making a start. But, you know, he leads the team with 46% shooting from the floor. He shoots 33% from downtown. We didn't get a chance to talk to him a lot in the pregame, Mike, but this is a really good player, and he's been held out of the scoring column.
Yeah, and, you know, the Dolphins have to feel pretty good the way they've come out here early. 12 of 18 from the field, including 4 of 6 from the three-point line and 2 of 2 from the free throw line. They're doing a pretty good job, Dave, in all facets of the game here early.
Yeah, listen, I mean, if you were to tell T.J. Tibbs going in the first 12 minutes, your team's going to shoot 67% from the field goal range, from three-point range, you know, get themselves not really have too much foul trouble. They're within 1 rebound of CCNY, and they forced 8 turnovers. You'd sign up for it.
Yeah, as we have an opportunity to take a look at that three-pointer by White that broke a extended Dolphin run and an extended Beavers scoring drought, as the Beavers will get an opportunity to inbound the basketball as we have a whistle, and we're going to have the inbounds pass once again. 19 seconds to shoot here for CCNY as they inbound the basketball to Palazzo, and now they'll hand off to Hunt. Hunt with the basketball. Hunt feeding it inside to Palazzo. Palazzo kicking it back to White. His open three-pointer is no good, and Flagg's there to grab the rebound for the Dolphins as he picks up his 3rd rebound of the afternoon.
Yeah, a couple of, 2 or 3 real important minutes here for CCNY. Down by 16, with the halftime 7 minutes away, you want to get this down to 10, 12 points.
Now the Dolphins with the basketball as they look to work the ball to Destine. Now Kopech driving his way inside, and he banks it up and in. Nice play by Kopech over the bigger Palazzo.
Yeah, he's a sophomore transfer from Mount St. Vincent, and very highly touted by head coach T.J. Tibbs and his staff, and he too kind of finding his way here with the Dolphins.
White looking to feed the ball inside. A nice move by Chada, who lays it up and in, and we're going to have a whistle and a timeout taken by the Dolphins. It'll be a 30-second timeout, Dave, so why don't we keep it right here with 6:43 remaining.
Yeah, it's the 4th 30-second timeout we've seen, so both teams have exhausted theirs, and that time T.J. Tibbs did not see anything that he liked there defensively, and he's having a few words with Christian Kopech. You could see it on your screen, and that was just a really nice play by White. The pass inside was Sterling right on the money, and CCNY making it count, cutting the CSI lead down to 16. And like I said, Mike, the last 6 minutes or so, if you're the Dolphins, you'd like to go into halftime maybe up 20, 22 points. For CCNY, you'd like to go into halftime down maybe 8, 10, 12. That's 2 different complexions coming out for the second half.
Yeah, and Dave, we've just had an opportunity really to watch T.J. Tibbs do just a few games. One of the things I think we've seen is as soon as he sees something he doesn't like, he calls a timeout and he wants to talk to the players about it.
And he'll make immediate substitutions too when guys will make a mistake or not do anything they're assigned to do. And it's a teaching moment for him because they'll come on the bench and you'll see immediately the conversation as to what happened, what went wrong, and how do we fix the problem next time. As
Savage misses that jumper, and White has the basketball now for the Beavers as they're down by 16 with 6:10 remaining here in the first half. Robinson with the basketball. Robinson now feeds it up over to Chada. Chada looking to work against Kopech. He feeds it inside to Palazzo. Palazzo has it knocked out of his hands. He recovers, misses the shot, and Flagg grabs the rebound.
Palazzolo at 6'5", contesting against Savage at 5'10".
Beautiful move by Rossiter, but a nice defensive play as we're going to have a jump ball, and the possession arrow will go to the Beavers.
Yeah, that time Rossiter kind of wanted to put it straight up and just couldn't corral the ball, got laced up, and it's like CCNY should have a fresh 30 here. They haven't reset the clock.
So Savage, I'm sorry, Dave, go ahead.
They're giving CSI the ball here, Mike. I don't really understand why. Oh, yeah. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm not sure on the play, but it looks like it's going to end up being CCNY basketball, which is certainly correct, Dave.
Yeah, and now they just reset the clock. So at first it was looked like they were going to give it to CSI.
So now it'll be White with the basketball here as Savage goes to the bench, Dave. So it'll be interesting to see who the point guard is for the Dolphins when they pick up the ball offensively.
Yeah, it'll probably be Rigo Destine, I would assume, Mike.
as we're going to have a whistle and a foul on the outside, and that's going to be the 16th foul on the Dolphins, or the 5th, I should say. So the Beavers will get to inbound the basketball with 20 seconds remaining on the shot clock, still looking for offense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 16 points through 15 minutes almost here for CCNY.
So it'll be White with the basketball. Destine comes out to guard him. 10 seconds on the shot clock for the Beavers. Nice crossover dribble by White. His jumper's up, no good. Rossiter goes up high for the rebound for the Dolphins. Now it's Latunji. Latunji got kind of up in the air, Dave, with nowhere to go, and he turns the ball over.
Yeah, absolutely. That's an inexplicable turnover there for the Dolphins. That's turnover number 8 for them. It now matches what CCNY has done in the turnover department.
So let's see if the Beavers could take advantage and try to narrow the Dolphin lead now as we go inside of 5 minutes remaining here in the first half. White kicking the ball out in the corner. The long three-pointer is up, no good, but no Dolphin there to grab the rebound. Now it's Palazzo. His long three-pointer is up, no good, and this time it's Destine going up high for the Dolphins.
And CCNY doing a majority of their shooting from the outside. Mike, they only have 8 points in the paint.
And now Rossiter comes back and buries the 3.
Yep, and that hurts, especially when you've had multiple opportunities the other way. But if you're CCNY, you haven't gone to the line at all this evening. You really haven't tried to push the ball inside, and maybe that's the trick here.
The Beavers just 7 of 24 as Chada drives his way inside, but lost the handle, missed the shot, and now it'll be Destine with the ball for the Dolphins. Destine looking to feed it inside to Rossiter. He'll collide into a couple of people and pick up the offensive foul.
Yep, TJ Tibbs trying to get the attention of the officials here as he wants a call, but not going to get it. Savage is back in, Mike, to replace Destine.
So Savage gets a couple of minutes, and he'll come back to run the offense as the Dolphins have their lead up to 19 as the clock heads down to 4 minutes remaining here in the first half.
You saw the graphic on your screen, 8 turnovers apiece for both teams.
White looking to use his speed to feed the ball inside as that time going up is Williams to lay it up and in, and Rossiter's going to pick up his second personal foul, Dave.
Yeah, Mike, and I'm surprised. The Dolphins, if there's one thing that they lack is size, and CCNY hasn't really attacked that weakness of the Dolphins, and now they did, and they're going to the line for the first time to boot. So, again, you don't want to draw up the game plan for opposite teams, but you take one look at the Dolphins, and that is where they come up a little bit short. Forgive the pun.
Yeah, so Rossiter will pick up the personal foul and an opportunity here for the Beavers to cut the Dolphin lead back down to 16 as that free throw is up. No good. And Rossiter grabs the rebound for the Dolphins, and he'll hand off to Savage. Savage with the basketball as he looks to set up offensively. Brocic feeding it inside to Rossiter. Rossiter double-teamed. He kicks it back to Brocic. That three-pointer will be no good, but Latunji goes up and grabs the rebound. Dolphins with 10 seconds to shoot. Rossiter working it in the corner. Back to Brocic. His three-pointer is no good, so he misses his last 2 after hitting his first 3. Javier with the basketball. Now Palazzo. Palazzo looking to work against the smaller Rossiter, and his floater is up and in, and the Dolphin lead is now down to 15.
And the Beavers are starting to push things inside a little bit more, Mike. They're having a little bit more success there. Meanwhile, if you're the Dolphins, trying to attack this zone defense here for CCNY and get an open look somewhere.
Savage out by the three-point line. Now Destine back up over to Savage as the Dolphins work it in the corner, and we're going to have a whistle and an offensive foul called on the Dolphins, and I believe that'll be on Savage, Dave.
No, I think it was on Rossiter.
On Rossiter.
Yeah, that's his 3rd, too. So that's a big foul for one of the Dolphins players who's been playing very well here. First 17 minutes, Dolphins up by 15, but you could see the momentum swinging just a little bit here for the Beavers.
Yeah, and now Rossiter's picked up 3 fouls in about 2 minutes of play, and he'll be on the bench for the rest of the half. White with the basketball. White looking to work against Brocic. Brocic staying right on top of him. Brocic, nice defensive play. A wild shot by White as they feed it ahead to Latunji, who lays it up and in. And boy, Dave, he sure plays bigger than the 6'3" he's listed in the program.
Yeah, well, listen, he's got such huge, long strides. He's able to get to the basketball, runs like a deer, and that's one thing that he's going to give to you, Mike. He's an academic transfer, but he never played before at the University of Albany. and he's having himself a good start.
So Javier lays it up and in and cuts the Dolphin lead back down to 15. 2 minutes remaining, a big 2 minutes here for both teams.
Absolutely.
Savage with the basketball now, 15 seconds to shoot as Jazalik comes out to guard him. Now it's Bracic. Bracic loses the handle and turns it over. White with the basketball. White feeding it up over to Williams. The shot is going to be knocked away, and the Dolphins unable to keep it inbound, so it'll remain Beaver basketball with 23 to shoot.
That time offensively, Bracic just hesitated just a little moment, and it cost him the turnover. And then on the other end, a nice defensive play by Latunji to interrupt that shot.
Dolphins now with 10 turnovers compared to just 8 for the Beavers, and the Beavers started out turning over the basketball as they worked the ball in the corner for the open three-pointer, and that's good by Samuel Williams, and that will cut the Dolphin lead down to 12.
Yeah, Williams with his first attempt at three-pointer, sinks it there. He's been the guy that they've turned to on the inside.
So the Dolphin lead, which had been up as high as 17, I believe, Dave, now down to 12, as they feed it into Latunji, who jams it home.
Wow. We haven't seen that for a long time here at the Sports and Rec Center. That gets the crowd up, and what a pass by Savage, and then a finish by Latunji.
So let's see if the Dolphins can come out defensively. They do, as Bracic comes away with the steal. He's hammering on the play, and there's going to be a foul on the play, and that will send Bracic to the line to shoot 2. So the Beavers cut it down to 12, but a big basket by the Dolphins, and now an opportunity for Bracic to shoot 2.
Yeah, and it's one of the first time the Dolphins have been on the at the free throw line in a long time here. But you see what a dunk can do, Mike. Just ignites the team. They get a turnover the other way, and now a chance to convert points on that turnover, and they do as a result of the free throw. Here's the replay, Mike.
Yeah, so you see Bracic get it over to Savage. He feeds it to Latunji, who jams it home. Bracic now shooting his second free throw. He hits them both. The Dolphins now 4-4 from the line here this afternoon, and the lead goes back up to 16 with under a minute remaining, and the Dolphins looking for a defensive stop. Javier, pull-up jumper is up, no good, but we're going to have a whistle and a foul called, and that will be on the Dolphins. So CCNY starting to pressure the Dolphins inside a little bit, and they draw the foul, and that will lead to free throws now as Joseph Bermudez will go to the line for CCNY.
Yeah, his first trip. He doesn't have a shot today at all, and he does get that one to go on the 1-and-1. And, you know, that's been the downfall as we see another slow motion here of that dunk. Nice job by Arthur Kapetanekis with the replays here on Sportsnet, and what a fine job. We'll send that into SportsCenter and see if it gets in the top 10. We'll give it a shot.
Destine with the basketball, and he feeds it to Bracic, and that shot will be up no good. And that should be a jump ball possession, and I believe that would make it Dolphin basketball, Dave.
It will, and they need to put some time back on the clock. I mean, that clock was running a good 3 or 4 seconds while that ball was hung up there. And they're not going to.
So 41.8 seconds remaining, and we're going to have a full timeout taken by the Dolphins. So why don't we step aside and take a break? 41.8 seconds remaining here in the first half. Dolphins lead 41-27. You're watching men's basketball coverage on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
One-on-One is an independently owned and operated physical therapy center since 1999.
One-on-One has multiple offices located in Staten Island and in Brooklyn.
One-on-One has been getting people back to living pain-free for almost 14 years.
The number one goal of One-on-One is to provide quality health care for our community and continue to strive to be the best in our field.
One-on-One physical therapy gets our clients back to work, back to play, and back to function as soon as possible. We help them reclaim their life.
We're back here with just over 41 seconds remaining. The Dolphins lead by 14. The Beavers have been able to cut it down to as low as 12 here in the latest stages of the first half, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the Dolphins, we mentioned it at about the 7-minute mark. They were up by about 14, 16 points, and it was going to be a big stretch. Dolphins have weathered a little bit of a CCNY storm, but it's thanks to a 62% field goal shooting here in this first half, a season high for the Dolphins.
As the Dolphins look to inbound the basketball and they get it into Destine. Destine looking to drive his way inside. He's hit on his way to the basket and draws the foul.
Yeah, and that's what the Dolphins want to see more of from Rigo Destine. He's got an explosive first step, Mike. He's able to go right. He's able to go left. That time he attacked from the left. And, you know, this is a kid, Mike, who Tony Petoza, the former CSI Dolphins head coach, said that by the time he's a senior, he could be the best player in the conference. That's how good he is. That's what kind of an upside he has. And, you know, that's a pretty important person giving a young man some good kudos there.
And that's his first free throw make of the year, and now he hits them both, and the Dolphin lead is back up to 16, 43-27.
And as you saw on the graphic, the Dolphins perfect here in free throw shooting in this first half.
Javier with the basketball. Javier looking to work against Savage. Javier loses possession. Bracic to Savage. Ahead of the field to Destiny, who lays it up and in. And just like that, Dave, a 12-point lead jumps up to 18.
Yeah, that's the difference in games like this. If you're the Beavers, you want to get into that locker room on positive momentum. Looks like the Dolphins are carrying that.
And now Palazzo loses possession of the basketball and picks up the personal foul. So the Beavers looked like they were going to close with momentum. They had cut it down to 12, gotten the ball back, but the Dolphins go on a 6-0 run and an opportunity with a one-on-one here, Dave, to open the lead, possibly back up to 20.
Yeah, and you give a lot of credit to the Dolphins as well for not taking their foot off the gas pedal. They're playing very hard, especially defensively. That's what TJ Tibbs wants to see. And for the Beavers, that was their 11th turnover of the half.
As that first free throw is up, no good. So the first miss of the Dolphins now with 2 seconds remaining, and the Beavers won't get a shot up. So one half in the books, 18-point lead for the Dolphins. A very good 20 minutes for the Dolphins, Dave, without their starting point guard, Christian Taylor.
Yeah, they out-rebounded the Beavers. They shot 63% from the field. They were almost perfect at the line. And again, Mike, without their field goal, without their point guard on hand as well, as TJ Tibbs comes over to join us here at halftime.
As we're nice enough to be joined at halftime by head coach T.J. Tibbs with the Dolphins leading 45-27. Coach, the team playing pretty well without your starting point guard, Christian Taylor, here this afternoon.
It's really tough to play without him. I think he's one of the best players in the conference, but it's just next man up. We just go to the next guy. I thought guys who usually don't play, Zaquan Charles, Rigo Destine, thought they did an incredible job, and I can't leave Ray Savage out, stepping in, playing the point guard, handling the ball admirably. I think we definitely need to do a better job defensively, but for the young guys to come in and see some minutes, I think it's nice to see.
A lot of exciting play for the Dolphins here in the first half. A lot of dunks to the basket. Very exciting offense you guys are running here early this year.
Our offense starts with our defense. So if the guys get out, they play defense, they pressure, get into the passing lanes, we'll have some opportunities for things like that. But it needs to be a lot better if we're going to be successful. It's a tough team over there.
Thanks for taking a minute to join us at halftime, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
Thanks for having me.
That's head coach T.J. Tibbs. And, you know, Dave, you mentioned earlier T.J. bouncing back from a little bit of a car accident earlier yesterday, coming back, having the team play very well. And you saw even in that last minute, Dave, with the Dolphins holding on a big lead, he saw something he didn't like and took a full timeout.
Yeah, and listen, TJ has made it very clear that his goal in the first half of the season is to get his players just playing CSI basketball. And then after that, everything else will take care of itself. But his team is well on the way. They played a very, very strong half of basketball, probably their best half of basketball of the season. In front of their home crowd, it's got to feel good. And the Dolphins have a sizable lead going into the locker room.
So it's cold and snowy outside, but the Dolphins are red hot inside the tank, shooting 63% in the first half, and they go into halftime with a 45-27 lead. So why don't we step aside, take a break here for a couple of minutes, and we'll be back, get you the first half statistics, and get you ready for the start of the second half as you're watching men's CUNYAC basketball coverage right here on your voice of everything CSI Sports, CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
Make your emergency plan today.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
I'm a teacher. Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore, and frustration a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy and giving up impossible. I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought and unconventional methods common. I'm a teacher. I make more.
You make me wear my bike helmet. You taught me never to run with scissors. And to follow the swimming rules. You tell me to stay away from drugs. To always buckle my seatbelt.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. In fact, they're counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
Na 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 na, I love you so. I love you, I love you. La 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 la, la 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 la.
We're here.
Yay!
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Oh! Checking your fantasy league?
Nah, just my 401k statement.
Nice. Where'd you find the money for that?
I've just been saving a little every month.
I can't seem to save anything.
Well, what about all this? What about the money you're spending?
What money? It's gone before I can get my hands on it.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
It's 547.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to care of you.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke fast.
We're back here at halftime where the College of Staten Island leads CCNY by a score of 45-27. The Dolphins already undefeated in conference play, going 2-0. And Dave, in a year that the Coaches Bowl had the Dolphins coming in 5th place in the preseason conference rankings, the Dolphins picking off really right where they left off last year.
Yeah, you know what, Mike? You really can't ask for much more than what we've seen over the first 3 conference games, 2 on the road. And then, of course, in their CUNY debut here at home, it's been all Dolphins in the first half. 45 points, season high in the half, and they're an 18-point. They're up by 18 points at this stage.
So let's take a look at some of the highlights in the first half, Dave. In the first half for the Dolphins, a half that the Dolphins were able to jump out to an 18-point lead.
Yeah, here was that pass that Eden never gave up on, and it led to the jam. Down by for Adeola Latunji, and then we had this play here where Ray Savage, who took over for Christian Taylor, goes all the way in from the left side. Beautiful move there for Ray Savage. Here we have another one where City pulls up for the 3-point play. James's first points of the evening there, and then the final one, of course, was this just piece of perfection right there. Savage, the alley-oop to Adeola Latunji. Most of the replays, Mike, obviously benefit the Dolphins, and that's because they really dominated in that first half, and they have the scoreboard to show for it.
Yeah, and Dave, it's not too often that you have a 6'3" player in your lineup that you could feed inside for an alley-oop against taller players, but that's something that Latunji has shown the ability to do here early in his college career.
Yeah, and generating a lot of excitement, too, with that. I mean, obviously, we don't have a really good crowd here this afternoon, and that's a lot to do with the weather that's outside. Obviously, it's a very snowy and stormy day out there, but when this guy can put one down, I mean, it sends this place just up and ready to go, and it leads to big things the other way. We saw on that alley-oop that on the very next possession, Dolphins were able to get a steal and another foul down the other way, and were able to make some free throws. So, when this place is energized, when this crowd is going, it's a difficult place to beat the Dolphins, and they're showing it here tonight.
And, Dave, throughout the first half, the Dolphins shooting 63%. As they lead by a score of 45-27, shooting 46% from the three-point line and 86% from the free throw line, Dave. And, that's something that the Dolphins have really been looking to improve on. And also out-rebounding CCNY 16-14. So really playing well, Dave, in all facets of the game here in this first half.
Yeah, there's really nothing to really complain about. If you're the Dolphins, they have 8 steals. CCNY has just 2. Dolphins 18-9 in points off turnovers. They've, here's a statistic that we don't see often. CSI 22-12 advantage in points in the paint. So, and that's usually, one of the factors where CSI usually surrenders a lot of points is in the paint, and even in bench points. CCNY winning in that department 9-8, but still the Dolphins getting good production out of their bench. And let's not forget that Ray Savage is also one of those players. He's in the starting lineup today, obviously due to the illness with Christian Taylor, but he's come off the bench and he's given them just the 2 points, but 5 assists and making things happen. Dolphins are getting it from everyone, everywhere, and in every way, and it's leading to a big lopsided 45-27 edge on the scoreboard.
And the Dolphins already undefeated in conference play. They won their first 2 conference games on the road, and Dave, with this being their final game before the Tournament of Heroes begins after the Christmas holidays, a big 20 minutes here for the Dolphins, because they could really go into this 3-week break with a lot of momentum and really feeling good about themselves.
Yeah, and let's not forget, Mike, in their game against York on Tuesday, the Dolphins had a 3-point lead at halftime, and they fell behind by 14 because they allowed a 17-0 run in the second half. So if you're the Dolphins, you want to make sure that you stay crisp, that you stay ready, and that you don't allow CCNY to get back into this game and make it a 10, 8-point game here right out of the gate. So play sharp, play strong here in the early stages.
So here we go. Second half underway as White brings the ball across the midcourt line, and the Beavers will have the first possession of the second half. Hunt takes the open jumper, and that's up and no good, and the Dolphins control the rebound. So Hunt misses an open jumper to start the half for the Beavers. Flag taking the ball right inside. His layup is up and in, but he'll get called for the offense foul.
He did not like the call, Mike, and the bottom line is he had to really get in there and power his way in. He felt he caught more of the defender than vice versa, but he didn't get that call.
So Flag picks up the offensive foul. That will be the turnover for the Dolphins, and the Beavers will have the basketball as Flag has his first foul of the afternoon.
And the scoreboard actually counted a basket for the Dolphins, and I don't know if they're aware of it because they haven't changed it yet.
Well, they'll have to fix that as Hunt drives down the lane, and that layup is up and in, and boy, that looked like a long continuation on the play, but the basket will count as Hunt hits his first shot of the afternoon and an opportunity to go to the free throw line and make it a 3-point play, and a good start here for the Beavers that could cut the Dolphin lead down to 15. As that free throw is up and in, and tough start here for the second half for the Dolphins. Flag thought he had a basket. He got called for the offensive foul, and then the Dolphins give up a 3-point play. Big 5-point swing here in the first 30 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. Big trip down the floor here for both teams.
Savage now with the basketball. Now it's Bracic. Bracic fakes the 3-pointer, works his way inside, gets it over to Flag. Flag cuts it over to Savage. His 3-pointer goes around the rim and no good, and Chowder grabs the rebound, and an opportunity for the Beavers to further cut into the Dolphin lead.
Yeah, that was a tough shot for Savage, and he got it halfway down before it trickled out. So another big trip here for City College.
Hunt stops, pulls up with the 3-pointer. That's no good, but the Beavers able to get the offensive rebound as that's White. His 3-pointer is no good. So a couple of opportunities for the Beavers. They can't convert, but the Dolphins turn the ball over on the jump ball possession, and it'll be Beavers basketball. So the Dolphins not off to a quick start here in the second half.
Still surprised that the Beavers are not insisting on pushing that ball.
As it'll be Dolphin basketball.
Yeah, you know what, Mike, and it's the correct call because they never did reset the jump.
So it's Dolphin basketball now as it's Bracic. Latunji, bounce pass goes into Rossiter. Rossiter double team, feeds it back out to Brocic as the Beavers looking to put pressure on the basketball. Now Latunji, the short baseline jumper is good.
Yeah, nice job. Nice stroke by Latunji. Very soft with the touch. Right-handed shot. And puts the Dolphins back up by 17.
White with the basketball now. Latunji comes out to guard him well beyond the three-point line. And now it's Williams. Williams handing the ball off to Jazalik. Jazalik's long three-pointer goes around the rim. No good. Plays up around the rim. Can't put it back, and Flag grabs the rebound.
CCNY, once again, just resorting to the outside shot. They really haven't done anything to really kick it inside.
As Brocic's open three-pointer is no good. He's now 0 of 4 after hitting his first three. Hunt with the basketball. Guarded on the outside by Savage. Hunt telegraphs his pass, and Brocic able to come away with the basketball and lay it up and in. So Hunt telegraphed that one, and Brocic made him pay, Dave.
Yeah, and he was able to turn Jazalik around and get square to the basket. So nice job by Brocic to see that entire play through.
Jazalik working the ball out in the corner to Williams. His open three-pointer is no good, and the Beavers missing open outside shots, and the Dolphins open up the lead back to 19. Rossiter, open three-pointer off the rim, no good, and White grabs the rebound. Place was ready to explode on that one, Dave, but Rossiter's shot goes off the rim.
No doubt, CCNY 1 for 7 in this half shooting, but 0 for 4 from beyond the arc.
White bounce pass inside. Now he feeds it over to Hunt. Hunter's three-pointer is way off, but the rebound grabbed but lost by Williams. Now ahead of the field to Savage. Savage lays it up and in.
Nice tempered play by Ray Savage once again to see it through, and it forces CCNY to call timeout, Mike. And just when you thought CCNY had seized a little bit of momentum with that three-point play, it's been all Dolphins since.
Yeah, and the Dolphins now with their biggest lead of the game. It's 21 points. It'll be a full timeout. So why don't we step aside and take a break with 16:36 to go. 51-30 the score. We'll step aside, take a break, and we'll be right back.
Gary, we are GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you?
You know you do.
Yeah, but I don't know where to start. That's why we're here. We're free, handsome.
I think we're breathtaking.
And here to guide you through every step of the way, starting with attendance. Gary, financial aid forms. Biology homework, G. I got this. Is that brand? Colleges love extracurricular activities.
Chess really isn't my thing.
I got this. Doesn't matter. Go ahead. Picking a college, man. You and us go together like tacos and Tuesday.
And I love tacos.
Fire and ice.
Those don't really go together.
Go to GetSchooled.com for more info.
We're back here at the Tank where the Dolphins lead by a score of 51-30. And, CCNY came out. They got their first basket of the half. But since then, Dave, all CSI Dolphins.
Yeah, modest 6-0 run, but it's the manner in which CSI has made that run here.
As the ball gets worked in the corner now to Jazalik. Jazalik looking to work against Rossiter. Jazalik feeding the ball out over to Hunt. Hunt looking to work the ball inside to Williams, and Williams will pick up the foul.
So already this is, I believe, the third foul that's going to be called on the Dolphins here in this half. CCNY yet to commit one. It'll be on Savage, his first.
So the Beavers get to inbound the basketball now as it's White. White looking to feed it inside. Nice defensive play by Brocic once again. Flag. Now inside to Latunji. His shot is up, no good, and the Beavers control the basketball. Hunt looking to feed it inside, but another nice defensive play by Brocic. 2 plays in a row, Dave, where Brocic created the turnover.
Yeah, that's where it's really beginning. You heard TJ say it. Their defense has been what's really fueled this thing, and that time the Dolphins missed an opportunity to really set this place ablaze with with another alley-oop attempt, but that time the pass a little bit too strong for Latunji, wasn't unable to control it.
So the Dolphins now with the basketball, and their largest lead of the game, it's 21 points. Savage Bounce pass to Rossiter. He works it in the corner to Latunji. He's able to blow by the Beavers defense and lay it up and in.
Yeah, like I said, it's that speed and that quickness by some of these CSI backcourt players that really could cross up some defenses, create a lot of matchup problems.
Latunji now 7 of 8 from the field, 14 points as that jumper is up. No good, but Williams is there to control the rebound for the Beavers. They'll have a fresh 30-second shot clock, but they find themselves down now by 23 points. White with the basketball. White, a wild shot is up. No good, but Williams is there to put the rebound up and in.
Yeah, nice job by Williams to stay with that. Beavers getting a couple of second-chance opportunities there, made it count.
Rossiter with the basketball. Rossiter, cross-court pass, now goes out over to Flagg. Flagg feeding it to Rossiter. His jumper from the free throw line extended is up, no good, and the rebound grabbed by the Beavers. Javier with the basketball. Beavers finding themselves down by 21 points now with 14:43 remaining here in the second half. Javier over to Hunt. Hunt looking to work against Savage, now picked up by Bracic. Ball gets fed inside. It's knocked away. It's going to be off the hands of Flagg. And now last touch by the Beavers. So another turnover here for the Beavers. Their 4th of the second half. And it'll be Dolphin basketball with 14:31 remaining.
And we'll see the debut of Rudy Laventure coming into the game for the Dolphins. He missed the entire first half. You wonder if that has to do with anything more than just basketball, Mike, as he's been a real fixture on this team, probably the 6th man on this team, and we get his first look.
Yeah, Laventure showing a lot of offensive ability as now Flagg puts up the three-pointer. That's up no good. Fight for the rebound, and now Laventure with his first touch. Savage out up over to Flagg. Flagg gets surrounded by a double team, now kicks it out to Savage. His open three-pointer is up no good. So the Beavers still hanging around, down by 21. White with the basketball. White now gets it over to Williams. Williams to Hunt beyond the three-point line. Back up over to White. His open three-pointer is up, no good. And now Flagg grabs the rebound for the Dolphins.
White, CCNY's leading scorer, did not start tonight. He only has 3 points on 1 of 7 shooting.
As Flagg drives down the lane, hits the layup and draws the foul. And, you know, you've seen more and more confidence on the offensive side from Stephen Flagg. Dave really started last year. You'd see streaks and series of good moves. Now a starter for this team, really starting to play well.
Yeah, you know, last year Stephen was the, 5th, 6th biggest player on the team. And this year he is probably the biggest player on the team. And the exception probably of Delahanty, who's been hobbled, but here's a replay of that.
Yeah, beautiful move by Flagg as he drives down the lane and lays it up and in, and Dolphins now with their biggest lead of the afternoon. It's 24. Beavers with the basketball now as White looks to bring the ball up, and a turnover by the Beavers will give the Dolphins the basketball, and CCNY has already turned it over 5 times here, Dave, in the second half.
Yeah, and that's the second on Javier, and that time he was just moving, setting a pick at the same time in the backcourt. And CCNY right now is in danger of letting the wheels fall off here, Mike, if they get down by any more. There's an 0-6 basketball team looking for positive momentum, things to hang their hat on here, and they need to play better here in these final 13 minutes.
Savage with the basketball, bounce pass over to Kopech. Kopech looking to work his way inside. He gets the ball out over to Desteam, over to Kopech. His open jumper is good. Three-pointer, and a timeout will be taken by the Dolphins as they continue to open up their biggest lead. It's now 27.
Yeah, we'll see if this is a full or it is a full, Mike.
So why don't we step aside and take a break here. 13:23 remaining. Dolphins with their biggest lead of the game, 59-32. You're watching basketball coverage on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
One-on-One is an independently owned and operated physical therapy center since 1999.
One-on-One has multiple offices located in Staten Island and in Brooklyn.
One-on-One has been getting people back to living pain-free for almost 14 years.
The number one goal of One-on-One is to provide quality health care for our community
and continue to strive to be the best in our field.
One-on-one physical therapy gets our clients back to work, back to play, and back to function as soon as possible. We help them reclaim their life.
We're back here with 13:20 remaining, and the Beavers are going to come back, Dave. They need to make a run right now as that shot is up no good, as the Beavers can't buy a bucket as that ball's going to go out of bounds, and it'll be Dolphin basketball.
And that time they did try and get the ball inside to Samuel Williams. Nothing doing on the play.
Yeah, though the Dolphins outscoring the Beavers here 14-5, and that's after the Beavers scored the first three, so it's a 14-2 run by the Dolphins as they have their biggest lead of the afternoon. The baseline jumper by Lavature is good. Boy, Dave, he shows you a lot as a freshman offensively.
Yeah, the Dolphins didn't go very deep in that first half, and now they get Jade Spencer in the game, Lavature in the game, Kopech getting extended time, and all the guys delivering.
And, Jade Spencer just making an appearance, Dave. And, there have been games this year where he's played very well for CSI. And, you really have to be impressed with the way the Dolphins have started the year out this year, Dave, especially in the conference, especially among all the uncertainty.
Absolutely. And TJ was quick to point out that after the game against York, he felt like Jade Spencer had turned a real corner in becoming a vocal leader on the team as well.
As another three-pointer is up, no good, and the rebound is going to be grabbed there by Williams. That's the Dolphins with a 29-point lead. Javier with the basketball. Javier looking to drive his way inside. His shot is up, no good. It's going to be a foul called, and I believe that'll be on Spencer, and that'll be the first on Jade of the afternoon.
Yeah, the next time the camera kind of rolls by the CSI bench, you'll notice that Garrett has a warm-up on, and you see Taylor with street clothes on, Delahanty with street clothes on. No sign of Darryl Bryant on the Dolphins roster. So if anything, it's a team, I don't want to say that's limping into their game against Tournament of Heroes, but certainly is looking to get a little bit healthier, but playing much, much better.
Yeah, so they'll have nearly 3 weeks to get ready for that Tournament Heroes game. The Dolphins find themselves up by 27 here with 12 minutes and 15 seconds remaining, and the Dolphins looking to continue to play well throughout here this second half. The jumper taken that time by Destim is up no good, and the Beavers control the rebound as they're looking to work their way back into the game here, Dave, in the second half.
When you look at the Dolphins defensively, Mike, a lot of spirit in their eyes. They're not looking to give up anything easy.
Ball fed up over to Williams. He thought about the shot, now feeds it over to Chada. Chada looking to work his way inside, but will have a blocking foul called, and the Beavers will go back to the free throw line, or I should say they will inbound the basketball as the Dolphins now pick up their sixth foul. They'll go to the line on the next Dolphin team foul.
Yeah, so CCNY officially now, once they inbound this ball, will be in the bonus.
As Spencer just gets a couple of minutes, Dave, and he'll check out of the game.
Yep.
As the Beavers look to inbound the basketball, they get it up over to White. He nearly loses possession, but now he regains as he looks to set up offensively. White picking up his dribble. His pass inside is knocked away by Savage and stolen away nicely by Charles. Lavature working it in the corner to Kopech. His open three-pointer is up, no good. And Javier there to grab the rebound for the Beavers. Javier stops, pulls up. That three-pointer is up, no good. Ball ping-pongs around, and Charles is there to grab the rebound for the Dolphins and feed the ball out to Lavature. Now it's Savage, and Dolphins may start to run some shot clock, Dave, with their offensive possessions. Lavature, Kopech. Now Savage puts up the three-pointer and buries it.
Yeah, he's been waiting for that one. Savage has had his go of it from three-point range. And finally gets one to go there and gives the Dolphins their biggest lead of the game.
So the Dolphin lead now 30 as they've outscored the Beavers 19-7 here in this second half, as that three-point jumper is up no good, and Charles goes up and grabs the rebound for the Dolphins.
Beavers 0 for 10 from three-point range in the second half.
Savage now works it inside as it goes to Charles. He lays it up and in. A nice pass that time by Destim into Charles, and we're going to have a whistle and a full timeout taken by the CCNY Beavers. 10 minutes, 27 seconds remaining here at the Tank in the second half. Dolphins lead 66-34. We'll step aside and take a break, and we'll be right back. We're back here. We have 10 minutes and 27 seconds remaining here in the second half. And Dave, the Dolphins took the lead early in this game. They've never trailed, and they now lead by a score of 66-34.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. They've taken complete control of this game. And really in the second half, Mike, the Beavers just 2 of 16 from the field, 0 for 10 from three-point range. You wonder when or if they'll abandon the three-pointer, but they are just 3 of 22 from three-point range. That's 14%. Dolphins continue to shoot the ball very well, 58%. They're just winning in every area at this point, Mike.
Yeah, and this is a Dolphin team playing without their starting point guard, Christian Taylor. You mentioned Dave, Darryl Bryan not playing, James Delahanty not playing, but Dolphins coming out playing strong, spirited defense, and they find themselves leading now by 32 points as that open three-pointer is good as CCNY finally hits a three-pointer here, Dave, in the second half.
And that was over the arms of Chris Fabosi, who has checked into the game for the Dolphins for the first time.
As Fabosi puts up that long three-pointer, and that's no good as the ball's going to be off the hands of Chata, so it'll be Dolphin basketball with 9:52 remaining, and the Beavers are going to have any shot at all, Dave. They better make an immediate run and not let the Dolphins score. Ball fed out over to Lavachor, and you can forget that as he comes in and hits the long two-pointer.
Yeah, and he's one of CSI's best shooters. TJ Tibbs has told us that he's got the green light to shoot whenever he pretty much feels like he's got a good one, and he shows why right there.
So now it's going to be Javier with the basketball as the Beavers try to work the ball around the perimeter. Now Jazalik, his shot is short, and the putback is going to be whistled down, and it's going to be a foul on the Dolphins, and that will lead to free throws here for the Beavers as we play out the final 9:26, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. Now it's just kind of a test for the Dolphins to see if they can continue to play with the same kind of intensity over these last 9 minutes. We still got a quarter of this game to play, and sometimes guys can get their heads down, Mike, allow some easy baskets the other way. It'll be interesting to see if CSI can maintain their composure and focus here through the last 9.5 minutes.
Yeah, as head coach TJ Tibbs called 3 of his young players over, continuing to coach throughout the second half here with his young team leading now by 30 and just over 9:15 remaining. Kopech with the basketball. Now it's Lavachor out by the three-point line. Back to Kopech. He drives his way inside. A beautiful feed inside to Charles. He can't complete the layup. He tries to keep the ball alive, but it comes down now into the hands of Williams.
Nice dish by Kopech there. Dolphins just couldn't complete the play, but a nice sequence there in the interior.
Jazalik with the basketball. He feeds it up over to Williams. His long three-pointer is no good as the Beavers continue to struggle from the field.
Half the Beaver shots have been three-point attempts, Mike, so far, or just about anyway, 25 out of 51.
Destine with the basketball. Destine guarded out now by Jazalik at the perimeter. Now a bounce pass to Charles. He looks to feed it back over, but before they put the ball on the floor, Destine gets called for the travel.
Yeah, Rigo that time didn't really know what he wanted to do in that moment, but CCNY kind of cleared a path for him, Mike, inadvertently, and by the time Rigo identified it, he had traveled with the ball.
So it'll be CCNY with the basketball now as Hunt brings the ball up across the midcourt line, guarded there by Fabosi. Hunt feeding the ball up over to Chata. Chata looking to work his way in against Charles. Good defense by Charles. He feeds it up over to Jazalik. His shot is round the rim, no good. Fabossi grabs the rebound, and the Dolphins have the basketball.
Nice move by Jaslik, just couldn't finish.
Lavature, the open three-pointer is good. Sorry, Dave.
No, hard to believe the Dolphins did it without him in the first half. They were up by 18, but since he's come off the bench, he's probably the Dolphins' true number 6 man. He's been brilliant.
3 of 4 from the field, 7 points for Rudy, as the Dolphins on their way to their 3rd consecutive conference victory. And really got to be happy, Dave, if you're a CSI Dolphins with the way the women are playing, and you kind of expected that, and the way the men are playing. And I think a lot of people weren't sure exactly what to expect out of this men's basketball team.
Yeah, listen, a lot of fans, when you look at the offseason and say, well, we lost our, Frank Schettino, our 4-year 1,000-point scorer, all-time leader in assists, and had an All-American season last year. Then Khalid Baum, Kevon Murphy elects not to return for what would have been his senior season, a couple of other defections. And then, of course, you got the pioneer behind it all, head coach Tony Petoza, 27 years, 34 in all when you count his playing days. He's gone, and you wonder, well, time for the Dolphins to get used to the cellar. But, this program has way too much pride, and these players know way too much about the CSI system to allow that to happen. And even in a quote-unquote rebuilding year, Mike, they're about to start 4-4 and undefeated in the conference.
And, you have head coach T.J. Tibbs, and, of course, T.J. linked to the program. There's only been one Dolphin team, Dave, that ever made it into the Sweet 16. And, of course, Tibbs had a major part in that role.
Yeah, and anybody who knows T.J. as a player and who lived through that and then saw what he went through when he went to NJIT and then Baruch for coaching since knows that, he's all about getting to the next level and not fearing anybody and wanting to be a national champion. It's not good enough to be a CUNY champion. He wants to be a national champion. And, the first day of practice, Mike, I remember he had his group on the court, as we'll let this play go.
As the open three-pointer is up, no good. Fabossi grabs the rebound.
He addressed his team and he asked his team, what did this team do last year? And everybody said, well, they won the CUNYs, they won the CUNYs, they won the CUNYs. He said, no, this team lost by 25 points in the first round of the national championship tournament, and it's never going to happen again. And I think that really kind of set the tone for the rest of the preseason. And it wasn't to diminish anything that the previous team had accomplished. It was more to say, look, there's more to it than that. There's more to it than just being a conference champion. We always got to look at what we could have improved on last year. And I think you see the Dolphins kind of playing that way as well.
Yeah, you really do, Dave, and, you see them coming out and playing aggressively. They're playing through the 40 minutes in spite of the fact that they've, really been in control of this one, for the last couple of minutes here in the second half. And, one of the other exciting things you see is that even when Coach Tibbs goes to the bench, brings in different combinations of players, or when players are out of the lineup, the team's still playing very efficiently and effectively.
Yeah, and they're playing together, too, and I think that's really the important thing is, and you see it in practice, too, like behind the scenes when if fans know if we've ever come, TJ's practices are always inclusive. He welcomes people to view his practices, and has a nice putback there by Palazzolo and a quick timeout by CSI. But again, it's a team that plays together, understands each other, and wants to win for each other.
So it's going to be a full timeout. Why don't we step aside, take a break? 6:47 remaining. Dolphins up by 30. We'll step aside, take a break, and we'll be right back.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
We're back here with 6 minutes and 47 seconds remaining here in the second half. We'll have one more basketball broadcast for you. That will be this Tuesday night, Dave, as the women look to extend their 5-game winning streak.
Yeah, absolutely. That's next week. And then after that, it'll be Tournament of Heroes time here. And actually, we'll have a women's game before that as well on the 27th. But before the Christmas holiday anyway, just one more broadcast here for CSI Sportsnet. Should be a good one next week as visiting William Patterson comes into town to take on the CSI women who, oh, by the way, won their 5th straight game earlier this afternoon and are 7-1, and Mike, 7-0 inside of NCAA Division III.
Yeah, and you know, Dave, this team really has so much experience on the women's side, a lot of veteran leadership, and you have to like some of these young players and transfer players that they're working in as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything is kind of coming together, and this is the year for CSI. I mean, if you're head coach Tim Shanahan, if you're a fan of the women's basketball team, you know that this is the year that the iron is hot. You have to strike it now. You have to win the CUNY championship and look for an extended run in the NCAA national championship. I mean, that kind of always seems like a foreign concept. You know, when you play inside the CUNY, you're not expected to really make a lot of noise deep in the nationals. But this CSI Dolphins team, if they shoot the ball well, the women's team, and if they stay out of foul trouble and control the ball and really play the kind of pressure defense that they're capable of playing, my goodness, it could be a really good run.
Yeah, and you know, they finished out strongly at the end of last year, Dave. They lost a couple of games when they were sitting on the top of the table in the CUNYAC conference, and you know, they really didn't go into the tournament with a lot of momentum, but they were able to come back, beat both of the teams that beat them late in the regular season. And you know, it really seems like this year they've picked up on that and have become a much better team than they were from last year.
Yeah, and I think there has to be a lot more urgency to really win the games that they're supposed to win and do well in the out-of-conference games. You know, it really depends. Like some schools that you go visit, you know, when they have an off-conference game, you say, well, it's not a conference game. It doesn't really count. And they all count. And when you're looking to make national noise, as we see a scrum here for CSI, and they'll lose the ball, it seems. You know, when you're in the national discussion, those games become monumentally big games. And their win against NYU, and we know NYU's down. They're not as strong as they were in the past. Brooklyn beat them as well. But that's a must-win game for the Dolphins. They're the better team. They're the team now that has the more veteran leadership. And it's a game that, realistically, they have to win. And they did. And that speaks a lot to what the makeup of this team is.
As the ball is tipped around and the rebound grabbed by Destebe, he feeds it ahead of the field, and there to lay it up and in is Joshua Garrett, as Garrett gets his first points of the game, and a nice opportunity for Joshua to come in and get some action, Dave.
Second basket of the season for Garrett, so nice job by him as the Dolphins have put just about all of their reserves in the game.
As the ball worked around to Hunt, his three-pointer is up, no good. Hunt has struggled from the field now. He's 1 of 8. As the rebound comes back and the Beavers have possession of the basketball. Hunt driving his way inside, the ball tipped around and stolen away, and now it's Destine with the basketball. Destine feeds it to Garrett. His layup is up, no good. Ball knocked out of bounds. Last touch by the Dolphins, so it will be Beaver basketball inside of 5:30.
Yeah, Josh Garrett made the team on as a walk-on player. Dolphins like his frame, know he can get up, and there was evidence of that there, and just couldn't get it to finish.
So Hunt brings the ball across the midcourt line as Dolphins looking to close out their 3rd consecutive CUNYAC victory and remain tied atop of the table as that shot is blocked away as Dolphins continue to play good defense, and now it'll be Destine with the basketball inside of 5 minutes remaining here in the game.
Yeah, big minutes here for the Dolphins reserve players. They'll all figure into the mix down the road. Who exactly does figure into the mix? Well, it's minutes like this that will determine that.
Kopech with the basketball now. He looks to feed the ball inside to Garrett. Back to Kopech. His open three-pointer rolls around the rim and no good. And we're going to have a whistle and a loose ball foul called on Zaquan Charles. For Zaquan, that's going to be his 4th personal foul.
And for Kopech, he now drops to 1 for 4 from three-point range, 2 for 5 overall. He's got 5 points. And again, if there's one knock, Mike, one knock on this Dolphins team that I've seen with my own eyes is that they do take a lot of fouls, and they acknowledge that. They know that. The coaching staff, when you talk to them, they say, yeah, we are going to do that. We play that kind of a game. But late in the game, and if this game was a closer game, these would be the points that you just hate giving up, the ones that are free. And Dolphins just got to find a way to stay in control, and that was another play where Kopech misses the three-pointer. The ball is spilling out of bounds. You're up by 32 points. Let it go. Let it go. Don't pick up the foul there trying to reach a loose ball that you're not going to get to.
So this is the 15th free throw attempt for the Beavers here in this second half. Dolphins have just been to the line 3 times, but the Dolphins in control of this one. They came out at halftime leading by 18, and Beavers were able to get the first 3-point basket to start the second half, Dave, but Dolphins went on a run and really pretty much closed the game out from there.
Yeah, and it was, to me, it was the fact that CCNY just stayed too much in love with the three-pointer in the second half. I mean, they just weren't hitting on anything from three-point range, and they just stayed with it, and they just refused to kind of go inside on the Dolphins. And, you know, the Dolphins, for all their toughness and for all their resiliency, they are not strong inside the paint, and CCNY just failed to capitalize on that.
As Garrett takes the ball to the basket and lays it up and in, his second basket.
You think this young man doesn't want some extended time? I mean, that was a beautiful move right on the baseline, stayed with it all the way, saw it through for the layup.
Yeah, and you could see is there's going to be an offensive foul called here on the Beavers that, you know, the Dolphins are intent on playing very strong defense here, Dave, throughout these 40 minutes. And, you know, you mentioned it before, for these players out on the floor, this is audition time.
Absolutely, and here they go again, 3-on-2.
As getting into the basket and laying it up and missing the shot that time is Kopech, and the Beavers there to grab the rebound as the clock winds down to under 4 minutes remaining here in the game.
Yeah, unlucky break that time for Kopech.
A feed inside and laying the ball up and in that time is Aguadande. Nice basket, and the Dolphins have the lead, and they're going to turn the ball over on the offensive foul.
Yeah, looked like an illegal screen there for the Dolphins, and for Kopech, that'll be his 4th personal, I believe. Yes, it will.
So Kopech will draw the foul on the illegal screen.
Jade Spencer returns.
10th team foul for the Dolphins. So we'll have 2 free throws here coming up for Joseph Bermudez. As Bermudez hits the first. Sorry, Dave.
Yep, 3 for 3 for Bermudez on the afternoon. All 3 of those points at the free throw line. He hasn't attempted a field goal tonight.
1 more free throw upcoming here as the officials are in conversation.
Not sure what's going on. Might be the clock issue, but
yeah, you know, Dave, I wasn't sure they were going to get free throws on the moving screen on the offensive foul. I would have thought, even though it was their 10th foul, that might be a inbounds play, not free throws.
Either way, they've allowed 1 free throw to
I
go
don't know
in.
what they're going to do. I guess they'll have 1 more upcoming.
Nope, they're going to inbound, and I don't know if they're going to take the one away.
You know, I almost said to Dave,
they did take the free throw away.
I was wondering if I was going crazy.
Well,
as the ball is inbounded by the Beavers, as it's Aguadande with the basketball.
Well, proof that officials are human and they will make mistakes, and they have enough wherewithal to go back and change it. That's the right thing to do.
It is. It was definitely the right call, as the ball is tipped back. 11 seconds to shoot on the shot clock now for the Beavers, as the ball's going to be knocked out of bounds. It'll remain Beaver basketball with just 7 seconds to shoot.
This could end up being in CSI's favor for sure here.
So the Beavers looking to inbound the basketball, and they're able to do so, as that's Hicks with the basketball. Hicks over to Bermudez. Bermudez puts up the 3-pointer. That didn't hit the rim, so that'll be a 30-second shot clock violation. So
after all that, the Dolphins got 30 seconds ticked off the clock with no points on the board. So score 1 for the team in white. They didn't need any more breaks, but they got another one there.
So the Dolphins will inbound the basketball now as the Beavers look to press, as the Dolphins look to feed the ball inside to Charles. Charles now back to Spencer, and now Destine will run down the shot clock. 14 seconds to shoot. Spencer now gets the ball out over to Garrett. Garrett looking to drive the ball inside. He takes it up. He lays it up. No good, but he'll draw the foul.
Yeah, so Garrett getting contact, making sure. And he'll have 2 freebies to try and get in here. This is only the Dolphins' 4th and 5th free throws of the second half. They're 8 for 10 for the game. Dolphins as a team this season just 65% from the line. Their opponents came into the game 72%. And Garrett makes the first to get the Dolphins to 9 of 11. So CSI shooting 82% from the free throw line. Their opponents 61%. And Garrett keeps the bus moving in the right direction. 81-47 is our score.
Real balanced scoring also here, Dave, by the Dolphins, as 11 players have scored points for CSI, Dave. Only 2 players in double figures. Latunji leads the team in scoring with 14 points, and we've barely seen him in the second half.
And the only player who hasn't scored is the one who's just attempted now, Jade Spencer, and he's going to go to the line to shoot 2. He's a good free throw shooter, and he might figure into the scoring mix as well, and that will make every CSI player who's played would have figured into the scoring. Spencer this season, 57% from the line, but did shoot the ball well from the line last year.
Jade's first free throw is up, no good, so we'll have one more upcoming with 2:35 remaining.
Jade is one of those X-factor players for the Dolphins, Mike. You can see come playoff time, if Jade Spencer's hitting his stride, he could be a real difference maker. He does figure into the scoring column. So all 13 players who've played in this game for the Dolphins have scored.
Yeah, and, Dave, you look at this team and you can see there's so much growth on it. They could look very differently by the time they make it to the playoffs. And, certain players are going to step up and certain players' roles are going to be refined a little bit. But, this is a team that certainly has a lot of room to grow. And I don't think everybody's really sure who's going to be doing what as the season goes along.
Yeah, it makes this team very dangerous.
As Fabosi's long jumper is up, no good. And the Beavers control the rebound. That long three-pointer is put up, no good. The rebound grab now, it's Bermudez. Bermudez getting the ball back at the top of the three-point line inside of 2 minutes remaining. Bermudez tried to crossover dribble. He loses possession. Fabosi grabs the ball. Bermudez will fall on top of him and draw the foul. That will be the 17th foul. So now it'll be Fabosi to go to the line, Dave, for 1-1.
Yeah, absolutely. The Dolphins just continue to hustle. Fabosi getting to that loose ball, got foul in the way. And now we should mention that Fabosi is the younger brother of Dominique Fabosi, Nikki, as we knew her well here for 4 years with the CSI Dolphins women's team. I had a chance to speak with Nikki before the game, as we have a women's basketball alumni game coming up in January. And unfortunately, Nikki tore her ACL and probably won't be able to perform in that game, but she'll be here, she said. Definitely in some way, shape, or form she will participate. So Nikki's always been one of the good ones here at CSI, had a great career, and now it's great to see her younger brother here in the Columbia blue and white.
So it's now the Beavers with the basketball as it's Bermudez. Bermudez working it over to Draws. Draws feeding it over to Aguagande. Aguagande kicking the ball back up over to Draws as they look to feed the ball inside. They nearly lose possession and now have 8 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Good defense now by the Dolphins. Now with 2 seconds, the wild one-hander is up off the glass. No good. So two possessions here, Dave, late in the game where the Dolphins forced 30-second shot clock violations.
And that was the 12th turnover of the second half, 23 in total now for the Beavers.
Dolphins with just 16, just 6 here in the second half as we have just over 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining. Destine with the basketball. Destine looking to feed the ball inside. The ball knocked away, and it's the Beavers coming away with the basketball now. Bermudez looking to take it coast to coast. His wild shot is up, no good. And going up high for the rebound is Garrett. Garrett will feed the ball up over to Destine as we're now inside of 1 minute remaining in the game. Destine with the basketball, guarded by Bermudez as the Dolphins looking to run the shot clock down. Destine looking to drive down the lane. His shot is up, no good. Charles is there to grab the rebound. His putback is no good. And Draws grabs the rebound now for the Beavers. Camberis feeding it off. It now comes out over to Bermudez. Bermudez out by the three-point line, looking to feed the ball inside. Now they kick it back to Aguagande. His long three-pointer is up, no good, and Fabosi grabbing the rebound. Fabosi very active for the Dolphins in his minutes here in the second half.
And the CSI coaching staff asking their players to settle it down here, hold the ball in the last few seconds. Dolphins with a resounding win, their biggest of the season, and it was all Dolphins. and they take this one, Mike, by 36 points. And they improved to 3-0 in the conference and are up at 500 now for the season.
So the Dolphins went on the road last Saturday. They played John Jay. Went on to the road. They played York, led at halftime, fell behind by 14, but come away with the win. And, here this afternoon, Dave, the issue much less in doubt as the Dolphins got on top early, never looked behind, never trailed. They led wire to wire, and the only time either CSI Dolphin team trailed all game long, Dave, was when the women trailed 2-0 this afternoon.
Yeah, that's a good point. The Dolphins also had that 18-point lead at halftime. CCNY had that big 3-point play. We thought that momentum might be turning, and then the Dolphins just ripped off that big run, really put this game away. Great job on the boards, but really, Mike, it all started with their defense, and a great job by Ray Savage today, Mike. I thought in place of Christian Taylor, who's under the weather, could not play. He really came on board, gave this team a lift when it needed it. He's not one to crush the scoreboard, the box score, but a lot of assists, a lot of defensive pressures, made a lot of really good plays. And he's going to come over and speak with us in just a little bit.
Yeah, and Dave, the Dolphins certainly not looking for Raymond to score the basketball. They're looking for him to distribute it, and he did a great job of it here this afternoon for the CSI Dolphins. And Raymond Savage is nice enough to come on and join us today. Raymond, congratulations. The team off to a great start in the conference. Now 3-0 through your first 3 conference games.
Thank you. We're just trying to keep it up the rest of the year.
So you come out today and you find out Christian Taylor's going to be out of the starting lineup and you're in. What were your thoughts going into the game this afternoon?
The whole year it's just been next man up. The first couple games we had Eden and Rossiter out, and it was always just next man up.
And you know what, Ray, TJ came over at the half and said this team, despite 45 points on the scoreboard, it really starts with defense. Being able to pressure the ball, being able to generate turnovers, turn it over the other way, and you got a pretty good assist on that alley-oop dunk by Addy, gets this crowd going. What does that mean to you, being able to get your defense into your offense?
The whole year we've been feeding off our defense. Defense turns into offense. That's just what it's been.
Absolutely, and Ray, the other part of this is you're now undefeated in the conference, and for a team that started 1-4, that's still trying to find its legs, trying to find out who they are. What does it mean to you to now go into the break really 3-0, undefeated, as one of the teams to beat in the conference so far?
We just have to pick it up over the break, come out strong in our tournament, and keep it rolling.
And, Raymond, we mentioned a lot of turnover, a lot of changes for the Dolphins, and Dolphins playing so well to start the year this year. What do you expect in the second half of the season as this team continues to get to know each other and continues to improve?
I think we're going to continue to get better. It's just we got to keep it rolling.
Okay, thanks a lot for coming over and joining us, Raymond. Congratulations on your great start.
Thank you.
That's Raymond Savage, nice enough to come over and join us here this afternoon, Dave. The Dolphins continuing to roll in conference play, 3-0 to start this 2017 conference season.
Yeah, Mike, listen, when this season started, the Dolphins started 1-4 overall. They had a couple of tough losses. They took a couple on the chin, and you thought, well, you know what, this is going to be a season about, kind of learning and kind of getting their feet under them, and we'll see what we can do in the conference. But really, these first 3 games in the conference, and granted, they haven't played Baruch yet. They haven't played, some of the teams at the top of the table just yet. But the Dolphins are for real. They have enough playmakers on their team where, again, they play defense soundly, they play offense soundly, they can score in bunches, they can make runs. They're never out of it, as they showed against York the other night on the road. And then in a game like this, they not only put their foot on the gas pedal early, but they kept it on the gas pedal and just really suffocated CCNY the entire way, and they get out of here with a 36-point emphatic win that really sets the tone for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and it's a day, Dave, where they play without their starting point guard and one of their better offensive players in Darryl Bryant, but yet TJ Tibbs keeps finding different combinations, keeps putting different players in the lineup, and one of the consistent consistent things that he's been getting has been productivity. But, even more importantly, Dave, a lot of effort. This team is a lot more diversified than maybe some of the Dolphin teams in the past where you were looking for scoring out of only one or two players, whereas with this year's team, it looks like the scoring can come from a lot of different sources.
Yeah, and that makes the Dolphins dangerous because if you're an opponent of the Dolphins, you don't really know who to key on. You can't double team one guy. You can't game plan around one player because no one plays long enough. No one is in the game for 30, 35 minutes, and if you want to attack the three-pointers with Eden and Rossiter, well, then you're going to have to give up some things inside with players like Spencer and with Jade Spencer, Addy inside as well. So dangerous, multifaceted, and getting better, and I think the final stats will show that.
Yeah, Dave, and these teams, both of these teams have played a lot of road games here early in this first half of the season as we get a chance to take a look at the final statistics. The Dolphins shooting over 50% for the afternoon and 75% from the free throw line and tied in rebounds. And, Dave, if the Dolphins can get those kind of numbers throughout the year, they're going to be very tough to deal with.
Any team is tough to deal with when you're shooting over 50% and 35% from three-point range. Doesn't matter who you're playing or what NCAA division you're playing. When you could do that and you can get this number down right here, 23 turnovers per game, that's a recipe for success no matter what level of basketball you play. You see it in the NBA all the time. And the bottom line is if the Dolphins can keep it here, they're going to be very successful. Now, they're playing a team that hasn't won a game yet this season. But you know what? When you play teams that you should beat, you need to beat them, and that's exactly what the Dolphins did.
Yeah, so the Dolphins' next game will be in the Tournament of Heroes as they will play Salisbury on December 29th. Of course, we'll have all Tournament of Action heroes for you right here on CSI Sportsnet. The women with one more game, Dave, remaining that Tuesday night, a non-conference game against William Patterson. So a nice test for the women against a tough non-conference opponent, and, we could tell based on speaking to Samantha Flecker after the game, a game that the women's team is looking forward to.
Absolutely. It should be a great game next week. Looking forward to being here for that one. Obviously, for all of our fans on Sportsnet, they can catch it right here live. Always 1.5 hours before the game starts with our pregame show. Should be a great one, Mike, and we look forward to welcoming in our cast and crew for that one.
So that's going to wrap things up here from the tank at the CSI Sports and Recreation Center for our broadcast engineer, Arthur Kapakinakis, and my broadcast partner, Dave Pizzuto. Sorry, Arthur, I know I blew it. This is Mike Babuski saying so long and thanks for watching. Don't forget to join us Tuesday night. We'll be on the air 6:30 p.m. as the women's team gets ready to face William Patterson in a non-conference battle. Have a great afternoon, everybody. Drive home safely, and we'll see you Tuesday night.